William Afton is the main villain of Five Nights at Freddy's. He's in most of the games, most of the books, and he's in the movie. But how has he evolved? In Five Nights at Freddy's 1, we don't really see William Afton yet, but we see some newspapers talking about some kids who were murdered, and we didn't know who did it yet, but we find out in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, we finally see the person who murdered the 5 children. We see him in the Save Them minigame, where you play as Freddy Fazbear, and you follow the puppet, and there's a voice that says save them. And that's all the minigame is. But rarely you can see a purple man emerge from the shadows, and then he runs at you, and he kills you. Then the screen goes black, and in the corner of the screen you can see some text that says, "You can't." He was also in the Give Gifts Give Life minigame. In the background you can see a crying child. Then a car pulls up to them, and the purple man comes out of it. Then he kills the child and drives away, and you get a puppet jump scare. He was also pink in this minigame, and the final minigame that he was in is Foxy Go Go Go, and usually the minigame is just Foxy surprising kids, and then they have a party. But sometimes when you start there's the purple guy, and he just stands in the corner and smiles. Then when you walk into the room, all of the kids are dead. All of the minigames are pretty much just the purple guy killing kids. In Foxy Go 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 and Save Them, we saw the missing children's incident. Neither of them are what actually happened, but the main things actually happened. Like the purple man killing 5 kids, and in the Give Gifts Give Life minigame, it shows the kid who possessed the puppet's death. The fan-made stuff was also very important for Purple Guy in this game. Living Tombstone's Five Nights at Freddy's 2 song, "It's Been So Long," wasn't too important back when it came out, but then in 2020 it became popular again, and it became a huge meme. The fan-made comics of Vincent also came out after this game, and in the comics, Purple Guy was named Vincent, and those comics became so popular that people just called him Vincent, because he didn't have a name back then. Five Nights at Freddy's 3 is one of the biggest games for Purple Guy ever. The main antagonist of the game is Springtrap, and until the end of the game, he just seems like a scary animatronic bunny. There doesn't seem to be anything special about him, but when you look closer, you can see a dead mangled corpse in the suit, and you have no idea who it is. But after each night you get a little 8-bit cutscene. Each one shows the main animatronics getting broken by the purple guy, and on the last night, you play as Golden Freddy's ghost, and you walk into a room. Then you see the purple guy, and he runs into a golden bunny suit, and that reveal was huge. It makes Springtrap way more terrifying and threatening. And it means that Springtrap was the same guy who killed the kids. The 8-bit cutscenes were also what gave Purple Guy the name Purple Guy. Specifically, the name came from Markiplier's reaction to Purple Guy killing him.
I can't go that way for some reason. What the hell? Purple Guy!
Five Nights at Freddy's 4 introduced Dream Theory, and it made it so Purple Guy never killed anyone, and Crying Child misunderstood him putting someone in a Fredbear suit. In the first 3 Five Nights at Freddy's games, Purple Guy was a mysterious evil character. We didn't know that much about him. He didn't have a name. He didn't have a family. He didn't have a motive. And he was just a normal guy. He wasn't a crazy mad scientist or anything.
She can dance. She can sing. She's equipped with a built-in helium tank for inflating balloons right at her fingertips. She can take song requests. She can even dispense ice cream.
With all due respect, those aren't the design choices we were curious about, Mr. Afton.
Sister Location ruined William Afton. Sister Location made it so he was less mysterious by giving him a family, turning him into a scientist, and giving him a name. And it made him way less mysterious and scary. After Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location came out, it completely retconned Five Nights at Freddy's 4, and now Five Nights at Freddy's 4 has a completely new meaning, now that the events in Five Nights at Freddy's 4 are real. And it also shows that William was also probably an abusive father, because whenever CC was sad, William never talked to him. And when CC was being bullied and when he died, William never stepped in. And instead of actually talking to his child, William made a bear with a walkie-talkie to talk to his child.
He's here, he's there, he's everywhere. Who you gonna call? Psychic friend Fred Bear.
And he made the bear so he could just sit in his bunker and sell merch, instead of actually interacting with his child. He also probably made the nightmare animatronics to scare his children away from the animatronics. Or he did it to experiment with agony. Either way, building spooky animatronics to scare your children are not normal things that normal parents do. Five Nights at Freddy's Pizza Sims Scraptrap looks horrible. His face just looks so weird. How does he go from FNAF 3 Springtrap to FNAF 6 Scraptrap? Also, a fun fact about this game is that in this game it was the very first time Springtrap said the thing,
I always come back.
and that was either a reference to the FNAF 3 trailer, or it was a Chucky reference.
I always come back!
But now it's William Afton's thing. William Afton was also in 2 8-bit minigames in this game. The first one is Fruity Maze. We see him in the background, and he lures Susie to her death. This was also where the theory about Mangle being her dog came from. William Afton was also probably the guy who we play as in Midnight Motorist, except he's orange now, and I think he was orange for 2 reasons. The first one is because he was awful in Five Nights at Freddy's 2 because that's how Atari Games made Shadows, and now he's out of Shadows in Pizza Sim, so he's not purple anymore. And the second reason is that Scott made him like that to match the color of the I will put you back together text in Five Nights at Freddy's 4. And we don't see him but we see Charlie's death. And we see the tire tracks from her death. But the ending of this game is very important for William Afton. This is when William Afton dies, and then he gets sentenced to constant fear and pain in Ultimate Custom Night. Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted brought Afton back to life again, and they did it in the stupidest way. Afton brought himself back to life by putting his soul in a computer chip, which is very dumb. Also, so many coincidences would have to happen to make it so Afton's plan of coming back to life would work. First, he would have to successfully put his soul into a computer chip, which isn't even a thing that he's done before. Then, He would have to hope that a company would make a video game based on the real murders. Then, he would have to hope that they find that specific computer chip, and that they use it in their game. Then he would have to hope that someone would get him out of the game. Security Breach was a horrible game, and I already made a video about that. But one of my biggest issues with that game is William Afton. For some reason William Afton came back, along with everything else in Five Nights at Freddy's 6. And bringing Afton back ruins everything that happened in Five Nights at Freddy's 6. And it ruins the sacrifices of Henry and Michael Afton. Five Nights at Freddy's Ruin saved William Afton and all of FNAF. And William Afton wasn't even in it. At the end of Ruin, we see. And his whole thing is that he can mimic other people. He mimicked Gregory, and before that he mimicked William Afton. And that means that Glitch Trap and Burn Trap are not William Afton. And William Afton died in FNAF 6. And that is the best retcon that ever happened in FNAF. And some people think that Burn Trap wasn't the mimic, but he was. And here's why. In the books, the mimic has his arms in a pose that looked like he's holding a stuffed animal. And he does that in the game too. Then guess who also does that? Burn Trap. And Burn Trap also looks more like the mimic than he does Spring Trap and Scrap Trap. And Burn Trap is voiced by a different voice actor than usual, which could mean it's a different person. Sadly, the future of William Afton doesn't look good, because of Fall Fest. It seems like Steel Wool Studios is changing old FNAF again. And it's only a matter of time before they ruin William Afton again. I think Steel Wool just needs to stick to the new games that take place in the future, or they should just reboot Five Nights at Freddy's. Well, that's all now. If you like this video then please like the video, and subscribe. Bye bye bye.